Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Not Your Father's Movies. I'm Vito.
I'm Mike.
I'm Jesse, and we are the Dad Fathers coming at you with some Flying Dutchman energy. And today we are joined by...
Flying Dutchman Sideman.
Dude!
Brett. I do a little sidecar action on the Flying Dutchman. It's aftermarket.
I'm just trying to imagine what that would look like where on the height of the ship your sidecar is.
I'm not giving any of my plans away, so don't even start fishing.
Is it like down on the water? Does it come in, or is it just up on the top?
Because if it's bolted on the water level, what about in storms?
I'm gonna blow your mind and tell you it's detachable. I'm not sticking with you guys the whole time. I gotta have a little freedom in the Dutchman.
At a certain point, Brett may just leave.
I gotta say, I'm imagining you on the side in your little sidecar, and people are being whipped on the Flying Dutchman. And you're just like, "Oh, hey guys, what's going on? Are you releasing the Kraken again?"
Yeah, if you're gonna do that, I'm gonna bail pretty soon. So just let me know. Just anytime.
After you put the Kraken back in, of course.
Yeah. And I'll take some hardtack and rum, please.
Hardtack and rum. That's my midnight snack.
Speaking of hardtack and rum, why is it always gone?
That's because I drank it. But
we're talking about Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest tonight. Number 2 in the massive series, of which there are only 3 movies, right?
No, there's 5.
No. I'm pretty sure
we don't acknowledge.
Well, we're gonna be doing 4 and 5.
I might forget about that episode. You're gonna be there. I'm planning to forget that.
You're not gonna make Jesse and me just do that, okay? That would be really shitty.
That would definitely be a detachable Flying Dutchman moment. I'm gonna find myself away from that situation.
Well, here at Not Your Father's Movies, we're nothing if not masochistic. That's why we began this by watching 3 movies that we kind of like and following it up with 2 movies that we really don't. But this is Dead Man's Chest, square at the beginning of our Pirates series. And I just want to say before we actually get into our movie, I'm very happy that you're here, Brett. Listeners of the show might know, they might not know, but Brett and I actually had our own show back in the day where we sat in an open air carport and used very terrible little notebook to record.
That's right. That's right.
We got like 10 episodes in, and then you had to move.
Yeah,
it would have been amazing.
I had to move because the podcast was getting too big, and it was messing with me a little bit. I couldn't take it anymore.
It was the Facebook group. Facebook group. You're like the
just
creation
the fans,
of this.
Well, I guess I should say the thought of fans, really.
Stifling the creative energy.
Yeah, it was putting a damper on it, so I moved away. But we hashed a lot of movie talk out.
We did.
Hashed a lot of beers out too.
Because our episodes were like 3 hours long.
We did a lot of talk.
We did.
Wait, now that we have both of you here, what was your favorite episode to record?
It's getting hazy.
Was this 2017 when we did this?
It must have, probably 2017. And we had, I'm a very kind of reflexive person, so Vito actually thought of most of the podcast ideas, and he had some really good ideas. We did one on 3 eras of television, right?
Oh,
so it wasn't just film. It was like bronze, silver, and golden age of television.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some other ones. We actually had some really good conversations.
We did. Well, we did that one on the nature of sequels, and that was like a 2-hour talk.
Which I thought about when I decided that Pirates of the Caribbean 2 was where I was going to come on.
Yeah. And actually,
awesome.
I listened to it last night, and I actually had a really good time. It's clear that I used up all of my grace as a conversationalist up in 2017. I just haven't had any since. Also, ideas. I used up all my ideas.
They were really
show.
good. Well, if you guys did want to revisit some of those ideas, I don't think anyone would be any wiser. No, I won't give away too many of our old podcast episodes in case they reappear in the Father Dome.
They might. I do remember though at the time I did not have a child yet. I was newly married. I had, looking back at I found my old notebook at the amount of time that I was able to devote to that. It was insane. I was watching 5 movies a week to get ready for our conversations. It was too much. And now
amazing.
I'm like blearily looking at this screen because we've done like 3 episodes in a week.
Does the little one know how much you sacrificed for her?
She will.
She will, right? Of course.
I will make sure I tell her.
You will play her all those old episodes from the Carport Filmcast. You'll be like, this is what you made me leave.
This brilliant, beautiful, creative partnership where we got to talk about all our crazy ideas.
Oh, it's back.
It's back.
Yeah.
Can't believe it. Nice to have you here.
I'm very happy to be here.
And we're talking, again, Pirates 2. This came out in 2006. It was directed, again, by Gore Verbinski. And yeah, I think we're going to have to talk about him a little bit here in this. So I'm going to save this part of the conversation for later. The screenplay is credited only to Ted Elliott and Terry Rossio instead of the prior one, which was credited to like 9 people. Listen to our last episode. I'll tell you who they all are there. It is starring Johnny Depp, Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley, Jack Davenport, Jonathan Pryce are all back from our first movie, with the additions of Bill Nighy as the Flying Dutchman himself, David Jones.
Yeah.
I love him. I love him.
He's great.
Gore Verbinski asked him to do a Dutch accent, and he said no. The furthest he would do is Scottish. And it's like, wow, you're really working hard, Bill. Like, you're really trying to put yourself out there.
You know, that makes way more sense. Like the Flying Dutchman would speak Dutch as the captain. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Dutch East India Trading Company. It would have made a lot more sense.
And he's like, nope, just Scottish. I refuse to leave my island. But then, so he's one of our main antagonists here.
You know, his face can just do that. That's how good of an actor he is. He can just do that.
Do the tentacles?
Do the tentacles.
Oh, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's not CGI.
It's not. It's real.
They had to paint it a different color, but it was all real. That was just acting.
Yeah. You know, I was really pulling for him to win Best Actor because it takes so much talent to control that many limbs.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when he plays the organ, that's a real organ, and those are real.
Well, he had to learn how because he's got a crab hand. And that's
right.
That you can't do much with
I didn't
crab
even think about that.
Yeah. That's why he plays with those.
That's a handicap.
Yeah. He turned it into a strength. My favorite tentacle of his is the little tentacle that holds the key.
Yeah.
I really like little tentacle because apparently little tentacle cannot feel the difference between a key and a piece of parchment.
It's pretty amazing.
It's a really dumb little tentacle.
My favorite is the one that blows out the match.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's a good one.
That's pretty awesome. I could use that.
I don't know. I see what he's based on, right? He's got like the octopus bulge in the back of his body. And then he's got the crab hand. And he's got all these tentacles, but I don't know. Is that like a modified blowhole in his cheek?
Yeah.
I think that's probably what they were going for.
Well, he's kind of missing a nose.
I think you're thinking too much.
Ooh, that's a good point.
I was wondering. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Is like, is it the one nostril? Is that what's happening?
That's how I take it.
Interesting.
Okay.
I put aside my marine biology textbooks when I was watching it. I just thought I'm getting pure in the experience here. I don't need to be with facts and anatomy charts, but you guys did the deep dive, obviously. So
Jesse's the resident marine biologist here.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, he lives in Phoenix. There's a big ocean there.
We do have aquariums, so not a barbarian.
So who else is in this movie?
We also have Tom Hollander as our very evil, awful leader of the East India Trading Company here in the delightful Port Royal. You might know him from, just in case you watched Bird Box, like apparently the rest of America, if we're to believe Netflix, everyone in America watched Bird Box. I didn't. So
I didn't either.
I don't think
Jesse,
anybody watched
don't break this streak. Did you watch Bird Box?
Yeah, I watched.
No, you did not, Jesse.
Okay, I didn't. I didn't just for the sake of solidarity.
Too late.
100% of the people on this podcast did not watch Bird Box. But
for fellowship, in fact. For fellowship.
Will you come with me?
For fellowship.
To not watch Bird Box. He's also in Bohemian Rhapsody as one of the guys. I forget everything about Bohemian Rhapsody, but I remember seeing him on screen at one point and going, "Oh, it's him."
Which is what you do every time you see him. You're like, "Oh,
it's him.
It's him."
Exactly. He's also in Hannah. Do you guys remember Hannah? Did you guys see Hannah?
I do. Was that the one with Eric Bana or Bana?
Yeah, and Saoirse Ronan as the genetically modified kid.
Wow.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
You forgot about Hannah in the movie Hannah?
Well, I forgot it was Saoirse Ronan.
Okay.
I didn't forget about Hannah. I kind of forgot about her birthday or something. I don't even worry about it. I remembered eventually.
You did. Great job.
Yeah.
That's a stay tuned for sure, at least for me. I really like Hannah, and he's very evil in that as well. But he's also in The Loop. Fantastic. He's in Valkyrie. And then, because I'm sure that the only other thing that most people know him from is Pride and Prejudice. He's the little parson that tries to marry Keira Knightley in that one, which is really funny considering that they're in these movies together again. And then we have the last person I want to mention is Naomi Harris, the fantastic Naomi Harris. Probably recognize her from Moonlight or 28 Days Later, or being Moneypenny in like 7 James Bond movies at this point.
She's great, and she is very strong as an actor in her own right, but then she can pick up like a character and just absolutely transform it. She made the character. She made her character. Was it Tilda? What was her name in
Tia?
Pirates? Tia.
Yeah. Tia Dalma.
She made it.
And then got to mention again our cinematographer Darius Wolski, fantastic guy. And it's funny considering how different this looks from the last movie. Like, you would almost swear that it's almost like a completely different creative team.
Yeah.
Like, this one is, everything in here is like green.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Was he the cinematographer for Pirates 1 as well?
Yeah.
It looks completely different. And they did a lot more kind of hard Caribbean sunlight even than the first one, which was wild. Like coming in through all the buildings, I don't know, the way rooms are lit and everything. I noticed it immediately. I was like, oh, this is a lot different than the first one.
The first one feels like an old-timey kind of serial. Like even though some of the shooting techniques were modern, the way that a lot of the scenes were staged felt like maybe something you might see in black and white way back when. And then this one is like thoroughly modern. In fact, it's so aggressively modern that now that it's not 2006, you're like, this actually looks a little dated. Like it looks more dated than the first one.
It looks of the moment.
Yeah. Considering it's like 15 years old now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
No, we don't need to go down that avenue.
I just went to see this in theaters yesterday. What are you talking about?
Exactly. I can count the years and the wrinkles that are new since I saw this the first time.
You started looking like Davy Jones yourself.
I have started to. Yeah, we're not doing this joke again. But then to kind of talk a little bit about the last person in this can we talk about Hans Zimmer for a minute?
Yeah, let's talk about Hans Zimmer.
Okay, I'm gonna come out and say I think this is my favorite Hans Zimmer score.
That's bold,
that's
but
huge.
I think it's probably up there. It was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah,
just the theme, the way it comes through, it sells a lot of the feeling of the movie. I think it does a lot of lifting for the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It really tells you how to feel at times when, if there was no music, you would kind of go, is this funny? Is this a funny thing?
What's happening right now?
But then the music's like, it's a funny thing. Like when they're swinging back and forth underneath in the bone cages.
Right.
And they have like the circus music. You're like, what is this doing here?
Yeah.
But I really appreciate it because otherwise it would seem too desperate and intense.
Yeah, it's pretty grim without that music.
Yes.
Yeah, they're swinging in bone cages right now, just trying to grasp onto a cliff.
Yes. To survive.
Yeah. This is
a bone cage made out of the bones of their friends and fellow shipmates.
That they get to just hold.
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
Yeah. And then to play
But circus music makes it all pretty funny.
Yeah, it's so great.
How long have they been in those cages for?
I think it's long enough that Jack Sparrow is firmly ensconced as their god.
Yeah.
So I think it's been a while.
But like, have they been eating anything?
I think that what happens on the Cannibal Isle stays on the Cannibal Isle.
You know what?
Well, because there's that weird thing where like the mute guy, he bites Will's fingers.
Oh yeah.
I was really confused about why he did that. This is like, I'm gonna eat you.
He was illustrating the point that they're eating people because he's deaf and he can't communicate. But this is one of those things, Mike, where I'm just going to say I really don't think we should be questioning this. I think
fair, good point. Sometimes I get stuck in like wait a second.
Nope,
you're bringing too much logic.
I forgot. We're not supposed to ask those.
There are some questions you ask.
Yeah. I mean, there are lots of little things like that throughout this movie, and even like what's his face, Rigetti, and the other guy. They come to this island on a little rowboat with the dog from Port Royal. So like they've been on that rowboat for a really long time and stumble upon the Black Pearl. Things like this. It's the movie is filled with these things, and I think we just have to say we acknowledge them, but not question them.
We acknowledge your contribution to the story, and I'm just happy that you contributed. Thanks, dog.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that I like to look at it and I like to wave at it as it goes by.
Oh yeah, that one.
Goodbye. Yeah. But I don't know. What do you guys have a favorite Hans Zimmer?
I mean, Interstellar is another pretty stellar soundtrack.
It's just using the organ again. I mean, come on, Hans.
Pick up something new, would you?
Yeah, I also really, really enjoy what is it? The Dark Knight Returns. Is that a movie? What's the third Dark Knight? Rises.
The Dark Knight comes back or something.
The Dark Knight 2, Lost in New York.
Oh, man. I can't believe that's like a whole series that I've remembered for years, and then the moment I need to say it, it fails me. But yeah.
For the whole world to hear forever. I know. Forever, Jesse.
But yeah, Dark Knight Rises, that has a truly epic Hans Zimmer score. It's the classic Batman mixed with like lots of like drums throughout whenever Bane's on screen. Yeah, I really like that one.
And the chorus chanting,
Yeah.
It's quite a pump up.
Yeah.
What's yours?
I can't get past Gladiator. I mean, it might not be the best, but just that movie is like the first movie that I ever saw.
Yeah.
With the first movie score.
Yeah.
That like I ever saw.
Wow.
And I'm just always, I mean, like, I'd seen old movies with old movie scores that were really cool, but
that's pretty amazing to see. Yeah. It's so good that you saw the score. That's pretty great.
Just like it's kind of like in A Beautiful Mind where like all the numbers come up with,
That's fantastic. Someone needs to send this to Hans so he can just truly know.
Thank you, Hans.
It was so vivid.
I was seeing it, seeing what I was hearing.
Yeah.
But I like that a man has this long of a career that's this diverse. And we have 4 distinct picks.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I would also like to point out that if you listen to the Gladiator score, whenever I hear it, I'm like, this is Pirates. Oh, no, it doesn't become Pirates. Like, it sounds like the precursor to all the pirate scores. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that's something that he does a lot, though. Like the joke I made earlier about Interstellar and the organ. Like, he's always sort of building on the stuff that he did beforehand and changing it and turning it into something different. Like the weird similarities between the score for True Romance and The Lion King. You're like, you had a lot of stuff on your mind, huh, Hans?
You're just working it out on the organ, huh?
Yeah.
Just taking the old music pad in front of you to new levels, eh?
Wait a second.
Exactly.
Hans did The Lion King. How come no one has mentioned that? I think that's my favorite one. I'm going to switch to that. Okay. I forgot that existed for a second.
Nice.
I honestly forgot that too, but I'm sticking with Interstellar.
Fair.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you sticking?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick, but nice. I'm gonna say like favorite kids movie score for sure. Yeah, it's pretty amazing, but like for different reasons.
It's hard for me to think of a kids movie score that was like taken that seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, no, this is art.
Yeah. I mean, like there's singing. There's a lot of singing and stuff, and that's not the case with all these other movies. Like they're more true scores than like. I mean, The Lion King would be more of like a musical.
Yeah.
If you.
He just does all the stuff that's not a song.
Yeah.
Everything that's not a song is him.
But I can't imagine a more epic, like, musical, theme. Yeah. Well, I don't know what I'm saying. I think I'm saying something about themes. The most epic song I've ever heard in a movie is, like, when Simba is rising to the top of that rock at the end.
Yeah.
Like, that is the most epic moment ever.
Well, that's also a good marriage of the song being super powerful, but not just having to carry the film, because the film's really strong, right? Lion King, super strong, everything about it, really pulling its emotional weight and storytelling weight. So then it becomes together even better, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to Interstellar, it's like I liked Interstellar, but it's kind of carrying it. The themes and pirates, like we spoke about, definitely kind of helped carry Dead Man's Chest. So seeing it come together where it works more synergistically, that's tasty.
Yeah. I guess there are some ways in which like it does like carry the whole film, like you're saying, but then to find that perfect song, those perfect notes to play for this moment, that's what I find in Lion King that I love.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'm glad that we were able to check in with our buddy Hans, and we'll be definitely checking in with him on our next one. Maybe he'll be on the show. If you listen to this, Hans,
You're
I'll
always
talk to you for
welcome.
hours.
You're always welcome.
You're always welcome, Hans.
You call me day or night. Here's my personal number. So just a little bit of background then before we get into what we initially thought of this when we saw it for our first time. This movie made $1.06 billion in 63 days.
That's amazing.
That's a lot of
63
money.
days.
Yes. So it broke a bunch of records. It's the fastest movie on record to do this until Avatar 4 years later in 2010. It was the highest grossing film in 2006 and the highest grossing Pirates film. It had the largest opening and single day gross, the biggest opening weekend gross, the least time to reach 100 million, 200 million, and 300 million, and the highest 10-day gross. Now, it's lost I think every single one of those records because, Marvel comes 2 years after this,
right?
And Avatar as well, which takes care of most of these. But I remember in 2006, this was the biggest deal of that entire summer, was that there was another Pirates movie and that there were sea monsters and there was another undead captain. And that's the only thing anyone could talk about. I'm 13 years old in a small town and everyone has seen Pirates 2. Even the people that I don't even know if they saw their first Pirates. But
They
it was
went
just
and saw
Pirates
too.
too.
Yeah, they just went and saw it because I think it's very smart. It does not say Pirates of the Caribbean 2, Dead Man's Chest. It just says 1 and 2, and you got your 3 actors, boom, 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 on the screen. They're beautiful looking. This is monster. You're like, I'm in. This is as old fashioned and beautiful as any kind of blockbuster could be that would appeal to anybody. I saw this with my grandma.
No way.
Yes, I did.
That's awesome.
I did. She really enjoyed it.
Is she
going
gonna
to
make a appearance on the podcast, or
That's a TBD.
just thought I'd check in?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we're going to call my grandma right now. Grandma, what do you remember about 2006?
What?
Exactly. I remember your sister was born. No, not that.
The important stuff. The important stuff, Grandma.
Maybe movie related. Just saying.
Yes. When you took me to something to make me be quiet, that thing. But my nostalgia for this runs really deep. I saw the first Pirates in theaters. I was 10 years old. It scared the shit out of me, and I loved it. And I watched it a bunch. I had a little slipcase VHS. I'd watch it on all the time.
Oh, nice.
And so when this one came out, it took a while for me to get to it. I don't know what was going on, but I remember all of my friends saw it before I did. And it really upset me because they all were talking about how much they hated it and how it wasn't as good as the first one. And I was like, no, it's going to be so good. You don't understand. It's going to be good. Shut up. And
they're like, I've seen it. It's not.
And I was like, you shut your mouth. You shut your mouth.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Picture me like much smaller and way angrier. And that was what it was like.
Ooh, that's hard.
But when I finally did see it, I loved it to pieces. And I've watched this movie. This is one of the, I've said this a lot on the pod because we cover movies that we like a lot, generally. I've seen this movie. It's in the running for top 5 most seen movies of my life. We're talking like more than 30 times.
That's very impressive. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's like twice a year since it came out.
No, what it is it's 5 times every year since then. And then I had like a nice 6-year break between this viewing and the last time I saw it.
I'm loving the Pirates math.
7 4s. So it's one of my favorite movies. I completely acknowledge a lot of the problems with it, but I think a lot of my love for it grew out of the embattled nature of me talking about it with people, because every single person I hung out with unanimously said this movie doesn't exist, only the first Pirate movie exists. And then they would say a bunch of unconsidered stupid opinions, overgeneralizing and simplifying what they thought about Pirates 2. They would say things like, it's stupid, it doesn't make any sense, what, why, so dumb.
All right, Vito, now I understand why you made this podcast.
You talked
He's
yourself
gonna
into
show
being
them.
the biggest fan.
Because every time someone would say it's the worst movie ever, I would be like, it's categorically not. There's a bunch of stuff that's really good about it. And then an entire group of people sitting around a table would all turn and yell at me about how dumb it was. And I'd have to yell back against an entire room. And I think just over time, I was just like me holding my DVD copy of Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest.
You took it to
obsessively
school with you. Yeah,
Exactly.
of course. Yeah.
I slept with it, just watching it over and over. I love this thing. I love this thing so much. That's my nostalgia is I've been in the trenches with this thing. And I'm a believer in Daddy Sparrow.
Big Daddy Sparrow. Bringing the pirate energy. There's a lot of dubious head shaking going on right now.
Mike's trying not to die right now.
I'm good, guys. I'm good.
Darn it. Jesse used up the last time.
Brett, just so you know, this is an ongoing joke from the previous one where someone mentioned Daddy Sparrow. So now we have to name drop Daddy Sparrow every chance we
get. The callback.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Daddy Sparrow.
Daddy Sparrow.
Daddy Sparrow.
I can't wait to listen to the episode when it's released.
We're cutting all of that.
Yeah.
We're cutting all of it.
You cannot
It's
do that.
horrible. No, we are cutting all. It's really bad. Like, no.
We probably do.
we need to.
So
I
it'll
think
only
we
live
need
on
to.
as an artifact in this episode then.
Yeah,
Exactly.
pretty much.
Yeah.
If here.
I'm sorry. What Brett, your nostalgia as our guest. What do you have it? Do you
For
not
Pirates
have it?
too?
For Pirates too.
I think my
Pirates the
nostalgia
Second.
hits in a lot of different manners than Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest. I remember this movie coming out. I remember going to see it, and then I probably didn't watch it again for maybe 10 years, honestly. I don't think I had friends who were as opposed to it as yours. So I didn't even think I remember being like, oh, this was interesting, cool. Like, yeah, a lot of great world building in here. It's cool characters. I remember really liking the CGI. Surprisingly, because I kind of hated CGI, but I was like, oh man, they actually built some great monsters, especially from Davy Jones' ship, the whole crew. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I just kind of forgot about it until 2 weeks ago. That's not true. I had watched I had revisited the first one maybe last year.
Oh wow.
And me and my girlfriend, we had watched through like the first three. So I had seen 2 last year, and I there was a lot I didn't remember about it. And then even watching it again last night, so very fresh in my mind, there was a lot I did not remember about that movie.
Yeah.
There was huge parts of it. And now rewatching it, the movie covers a lot of ground. There's a lot of swashbuckling through a lot of situations going on in there. But my nostalgia moment was definitely still tied to any excuse to get to a theater. So there are warm, fuzzy feelings around it. I loved going to the movies. So especially now coming out of the reign of COVID theater destruction, having that little kickback to remembering what it was like going to see a summer blockbuster in theaters, brought a lot back.
Yeah, agreed. I'm just thinking about how much fun it was, and I can't wait to go back myself.
I know.
Yeah.
Bring this.
I'm going to go see Kong as soon as I can. Kong and
There you go.
because it's exactly the kind of blockbuster, movie extravaganza that I want to see in a theater.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking forward to that. And this reminded me of that. It's something I thought about, like how fun it was just to see in the theaters. It's a great theater movie, It was fine at home. I got a big TV and a good sound system, and it was fun. But I remembered it brought back specifically this last time I watched it, thinking about seeing it in theaters and what it used to be like going to theaters.
I would love to see this again.
Yeah.
I would love to see this again in theaters.
That'd be
Just
great.
as big and as loud as possible.
Yeah.
Dude, like the Kraken just means more when it's like, whoa, it's the freaking Kraken.
When it's
IMAX
Kraken
Pirates.
size?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
6-story Kraken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jesse?
Oh, I've got a lot of nostalgia for this. Honestly, my nostalgia story is basically the same as yours, Vito. It was like the Curse of the Black Pearl was so like part of my life. So I was so excited for the sequel. And then like I was reading reviews, and then they were all terrible. But I went there and I loved it. I loved every minute of it. Yeah, Davy Jones is like solidified in my mind as like a terrible villain in the best way possible. Yeah, he's just so evil and it's like, how do you beat this guy? And then like the swashbuckling has been taken up another notch. Like I used to argue with my friends, like, no, Dead Man's Chest is better than the Black Pearl because the sword fights are so cool. There's like 3 people fighting at the same time on a wheel, and the first one they only did on the rafters of a,
I know, how boring, right? They just like stay still, but the wheel like moves, guys.
This ain't your grandpa's swashbuckling. They kicked it up a notch.
They're on a wheel.
Exactly, man. And then the Kraken, like nothing like that exists in the first one. I was convinced this was better, and this was like a large part of my life for about a year, maybe more, until the third one came out, and then I buried it and haven't seen it for like 10 plus years.
That's an interesting teaser for everyone for our third conversation.
A lot of trauma
because like I was so pumped. Like, guys, I never really watched TV shows growing up, and I never had seen a series where there was a serious cliffhanger in a movie like there is in this one, right? Like none of these plots are done. But you get this hint that they're going to go save Jack Sparrow, and Captain Barbossa is suddenly there, and you're like, what? Like, I remember being in the theater, and like, as soon as the credits rolled, I jumped out of my seat because I was just so energized. I so wanted to know what happened next. I loved it. It was so exciting. Awesome. So that experience in this movie, like, giving that was, I have so much nostalgia for this. This movie really brought me back.
That's a good point too. The ending of it, they really in this one sell another one coming. And the first one, it was pretty subdued. You know, he's got his ship and crew, and then he kind of looks at the broken compass. And deep down, there's something else coming, but not as direct like this, because they're all there, and Barbossa comes out and takes a bite of that apple at the end of Dead Man's Chest, and you're just like, ew, what? What's going to happen next?
Yeah. What's become of my ship?
Yeah. By the way, spoiler alerts.
Keeping the tradition alive.
Per tradition, we
in every episode.
Yeah, now there's some alerts.
Yeah. Alert! There was spoilers when you hear this,
dude. I remember that so much. Like Jack dying or whatever happens,
or anything could happen,
or anything could happen. I was like, I couldn't believe it, and then I'm like, and then we're like, wait, we can get him back. I'm like, wait, we've been here for like 2.5 hours. Do we have another 2.5 hours? Is this movie gonna be really long? Because I didn't know what the runtime
was. You're sitting down to like a Ben-Hur length experience.
Yeah, pretty much. It already is a Ben-Hur length experience. I thought there was another Ben-Hur coming. And then it ends, and I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And stayed through the whole credits and got to, because, like, of course it's going to have an end scene. The first one had an end scene. Mm-hmm. And then it's just a freaking dog. I was really pissed off at the dog.
You didn't like the Dog King?
Oh, I like, it's funny, but when I saw it, I was really pissed because I was like, it's going to give me something more. Yeah. And it doesn't. It
definitely doesn't do that. I forgot there was an after credits scene in the first one as well.
Is it the monkey or is it the dog again?
I think it's the monkey.
I forget which one. I can't
really remember.
I honestly just rewatched it and didn't watch after the credits, so I still don't know what it was.
I don't do that. I just wait until someone tells me it was crazy, and then I like look it up on YouTube.
My wife just reminded me of it.
Oh.
So she said there was an after credits scene. I was like, wait, what? And she said, you just did a podcast on this. And I said, yes, I did.
I watched until the end of the movie, not the credits.
She's a great manager.
I really needed to go to the bathroom, and so I turned it off.
Oh, man, I've seen that movie 20 times, and I don't know what the end credits scene is. In fact, I'm not sure if I've ever seen it.
Really?
Check it out. You can YouTube it, so you don't have to watch the whole movie.
Well, there's one thing we can't spoil about the
movie. Don't know what happens at the end. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, but so my nostalgia with it is pretty much the same as you guys. I do remember people like vehemently hating it.
Yeah.
I was like kind of upset with it, but then it saves itself at the end, I think, and like being enjoyable or like on the edge of my seat with it, because I like what's gonna happen, and the Kraken's so huge, and like you kind of think maybe people could die, maybe, but you're like, no, they've got some pretty ironclad, plot armor.
shield.
Plot armor, yeah. But then Jack does die, and you're like, what? How could that happen? Jack is like Jack. He's not ever going to die. So I liked it more than other people. I did some defense of it, but I didn't really care that much.
Sure.
And I have not seen it in 16 years.
You used
16
your time
years ago,
much more wisely.
I put $10 towards the $1.06 billion and did my part.
There you go.
In making this the highest grossing film ever until 2010.
Yep.
At which time I did my part in making Avatar the
Dethroning
highest grossing. Yeah. Which I'm still ashamed of. But yeah, that's I love the pirates. I love pirates.
Mm-hmm.
I
Good
love
start.
the first one.
Yeah.
This one, it was fun when I saw it, and it was fun seeing it again. Surprisingly fun. More fun than I expected.
How gracious of you.
All right,
Yeah.
guys, I just want to ask a quick plot question because I watched it this time around, and the whole like Jack dying thing didn't make sense to me this time because I thought he was supposed to serve Davy Jones for 100 years. So why did he die?
Because Kraken ate him. I don't know. I mean, that's
See,
how.
these are high level questions. No place whatsoever. In this movie.
I know I said that we shouldn't talk like crazy plot holes, but this seemed to be like just like
wave as it goes by.
Wait.
Just wait.
But does he? I couldn't
Wait, no.
remember
I
if
thought there was a reason for it.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
What's the
he
reason?
didn't he? He just wanted to kill Jack. Did he? He didn't want him on the crew, did he?
Well, that was the deal.
He was just sick of him.
The deal was he serves Davy Jones, and that's why he sends Will Turner in his place in the movie. And in turn, Davy Jones rose the Black Pearl up from the depths, and he got to be captain for 13 years.
For 13 years.
Yeah. Technically,
was the
two.
agreement.
Walked around, you called yourself a captain.
I like that
Not a
joke
very
lot.
good one.
Yeah, I like that joke a lot because like that was the biggest joke from the first movies.
Yeah.
He's like, he just keeps insisting, "My name is Captain." Like, where's your damn ship,
Yeah.
dude? Where is it? And then it comes back, and like, if he just hadn't done that, he would be fine for another 11 years. But I don't know why the Kraken eats him in the end. I was just excited by it, and it moved me.
Well, I also thought the way his ship worked was when the Kraken eats people, they go to his ship, and then he says, "Do you want to delay judgment and be on my crew for 100 years?"
Yeah.
No.
It
That is
just
not what
eats
happens.
him.
But then
It
he
kills
goes
him.
to the
Straight
survivors,
kills him.
right? Because that's what he does the first time you
The
see him
survivors.
making the bargain. He says,
Yes.
and he says to Will Turner, "You're not dead or dying. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing here?"
You are neither dead nor dying.
Yeah.
No. So it's just the shipwreck people, and then he's like, "Do you want to do this or not?" And then they agree or don't agree. But if they
he's
get
dead,
eaten, though,
and
they go
so
to Davy
he
Jones'
should-
locker.
He should have gone because he is dead. So he is
Yeah.
he qualifies. He qualifies.
He does. I just don't think he would want an upstart like
No,
Jack Sparrow.
but dead people, he doesn't take the dead people. It's just the dying people. And then if they say no, he deads them.
Oh yeah,
He kills them
He
dead.
just kills
He
him.
deads him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although we do see in the third one, we do see what Jack would look like if he was on Davy Jones's crew,
Oh, that's true.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no memory. I thought this was the
can't-
third one.
He licks
I thought
the
this was
brain.
the third
Do
one.
you guys
until I
remember
just
he
saw
licks
it.
the brain?
No.
Yeah.
he
absolutely
licks,
not.
He licks the brain.
I have no memory.
I can't wait to see that.
I
one.
watched
Yeah,
this
me
recently,
too.
like maybe a year or two ago, because I did the whole series. I don't remember 3 at all. I don't remember any of them now that I'm thinking about it, except the first and second one.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. Well,
There's just so much in these movies,
Yeah.
man. Like they're all over the place.
there's so much backstabbing. I think though, just to spring us into our favorite scene segment, I'm going to say that my favorite scene is that Hello Beastie scene between Jack and the Kraken. And I'm actually going to date it a little bit earlier than that. I'm going to say when Elizabeth betrays him.
Oh yeah.
Because first of all, there's a couple things that are happening, right? They're evacuating the Black Pearl. They're leaving it. They're like, we've been beat. We cannot kill this thing. And that's the first time where you're like, wow, in the true Michael Bay moment, shit just got real.
Yeah.
But then she goes back to Jack and you think this is really strange. Like Will's right there and you don't really know what's happening or why it's happening, why this choice is and then she betrays him. You go, oh, okay. I get it. And just like him like frantically trying to get out of his cuffs while everyone's leaving is really funny and really sad. And when he finally does say goodbye, it's just like a haunting shot in my brain of the way that the Kraken's mouth slowly envelops him, coming in, the teeth, and him just soared up, stepping into oblivion. And Hello Beastie is just a fantastic final line.
Yeah.
I love
That's
it.
pretty. I mean, even the way that after Keira Knightley's character leaves and he's like completely calm about, he gets what's going on, but he's just fully in the Jack Sparrow kind of character and doesn't do anything. He's like, oh, fine, I get it. And then when they're out of eyesight, the antics kick in where he's like trying to get his hand out of the chain, trying to figure it out,
Yeah.
He's trying to like Buster Keaton his way out of this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's
dude,
a great scene. I think
Jesse.
Oh, all right. The smile that he's given her when she handcuffs him, and he's just like, "Yeah, you're a pirate," and he's like so happy about it for some reason. It's like he's gonna die.
He was right about her.
That was the perfect way to describe it. Yeah, I'm a pirate. Things are so good right now. I got this babe. I don't really care about the future, what's going to happen, because it's good right now.
Yeah.
And then just the abrupt, wait, what?
Yeah, I love that. I do like that scene. But I have to say, it did creep me out a little bit, just like being more aware of Keira Knightley's age. It's like, I know it's okay, but she's like in her early 20s. He's in his 40s. And it makes me
He's in his
more
30s.
He's in his 40s.
He's in his 30s.
The sun
is he 40 in 2006?
He's 40. He's 43.
In 2006? He looks fantastic.
Yeah. He's born in 63.
He's got a lot of makeup on.
Yeah, he's got some. There's a little.
Oh my gosh.
He's got a little bit of makeup.
Just a touch.
Jesse, what is your favorite one? What's your big fave scene?
So my big fave scene is
I can't believe I said that.
No, that's going to be a thing from now on. The big fave scene.
The big fave.
My big fave
So embarrassing.
is the second Kraken attack. So there's the first Kraken attack against the little like Turkish ship, and you don't even see the Kraken. The ship just sinks and crumples. And then there's a second attack where they unleash it, and Will Turner is on the ship, and he's jumping from mast to mast, so he's able to see these tentacles slowly rise out from the water and start picking people off. And like it starts like taking down the mast, and that's why Will Turner is like jumping. And you just see all these little tentacles take out everybody, and these two giant looming ones come out of nowhere and like just fall on the deck of the ship, and it just starts collapsing. That like solidified the Kraken as a serious threat like you've never seen in a Pirates movie before, period. This thing is just going to devour everything, and there's clearly no way to defeat it. Yeah, and then that sets up what happens later, and it's probably my second favorite scene, which is the whole like climax of the Kraken attacking the Black Pearl, and you kind of know what to expect based off of this second attack, which sets it up as so fearsome. So yeah, that's my fave, my big fave.
That's awesome. It's so crazy too. Like the whole scene is just so chaotic.
Yeah.
And the oh my gosh, but you're still getting like the personalities of these people that you've kind of like been with for a while. Like the people who are like the superstitious, they don't have names. The superstitious merchants, or whatever, the sailors, As one of them is like holding up the dress, take it, leave us alone. And he gets taken. And you're like, oh, this poor guy, but you're also laughing at him as he gets pulled away. Like in some monster flick. Yeah, it's great. It's a great scene.
Yeah,
Death
I mean, Orlando
here.
Bloom kind of riding the mast down to that was you know, it's good to have the high stakes. You know, swashbuckling is one thing and kind of fun, but the movie does have a lot of these points where that's pretty anxiety inducing, watching that thing go down and him just kind of jumping from one thing to another. Like that's bad enough, and also there's a Kraken just eating people and destroying the ship.
There's a lot of chaos happening.
Yeah,
that's a good scene. How about you, Britt?
Kind of like you, I was interested in a scene that really kind of showed Jack's character, and it's when I think he's first meeting back up again with Elizabeth Swann and trying to convince her to get on the ship, and he is telling her that he's convincing her that she wants the dead man's chest rather than she wants Will, because he needs the compass to work. And so he's like, you want the dead man's, she's like, I want Will. And he's like, through the dead man's chest. But the way that he does all of that kind of persuading is very pirate-like. And it's also a point where in the first movie we got a lot of really great like facial expressions from Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow, and a lot of great movement and stuff. And I feel like this was there was a small part on the island where you get to see him kind of walking around in his weird swagger. But in this point, you get to see the really pirate-like character of him as he kind of tries and fandangle his own, what he wants out of through someone else, you know? Mm-hmm. And the way that exchange happens, it's kind of funny. You're watching it be kind of slick, and then it's also setting up the rest of the movie to start taking off as well. Any chance in the movies where they let Johnny Depp really be that kind of somewhere between Buster Keaton and Hunter S. Thompson-esque character. It's like a weird amalgamation that becomes Jack Sparrow, but when they let him do that, it always kind of delivers. Somewhere between the lines, the timing, the way he embodies that character really is solid.
Absolutely.
It kind of feels like go ahead. It kind of just feels like the only time when we see him get to be that guy, because the rest of the movie is kind of just like a blundering. Sorry, I took your point.
No, it's perfect.
Like a blundering buffoon.
Right.
And he's got all like the physical comedy that he had in the first to the nth degree. But what you love about him is his finagling, like his kind of swaggering, finagling, like just making something out of nothing.
He's kind of dumb, but also really slick, you know. Yeah. And then the way that you get to watch that happen, too, is great. In the same way that for Vito's scene, right, where he's launching into the Kraken, you get to see him be a brave person as well, which is part of him being the pirate that you don't really get to see in the rest of the movies. He kind of does some brave things, but he's doing them in service of himself or for someone else that's directly going to benefit himself. So anytime he gets to add another little piece to the character as opposed to just going through the motions of the character is great. So I think that was my favorite scene. Cool. It's pretty short, but that exchange is really sharp and pretty funnily written and really enjoyable.
Yeah, I think actually in a little bit further on, I'm going to use that as an in to talk about where Jack's character is. But before we do that, Mike, what is your favorite scene? Your big favorite scene?
Yeah, what's up?
I just want to throw in this real quick. Ooh. So that scene that Brett just brought up, I think it's great for all the reasons that you just mentioned. I agree with you, but there's also this part where Pinto and Rigetti just walk by and they're like hauling stuff onto the ship. And they're talking about what's in this chest. And then, like, Rigetti just, like, does this motion like he's tearing out his heart and then just, like, beats his hand as if it's a heart.
It's so good.
Yeah. It's like this great little physical comedy that happens. Yeah. I love it.
Dude, and it, like, pulls you into it. It makes you feel like you're a member of the crew because it's like, oh, everyone's coming back together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're here again.
Yeah.
You know, and she's like, hey, I know these guys. Why are they here?
Yeah.
They were trying.
Jonathan Pryce is like throwing up in the back.
Yeah. He's so hammered and he's dirty, you know? And she knows something is afoot, but she's still like, I really need to get Will back. So I see what you're doing, but I'm going to let it happen.
Right. Yeah. Jack Davenport, right? Jonathan Pryce is her dad.
Oh, yeah, Jack Davenport. That's
Norrington,
what I mean. Norrington.
Yeah. Norrington.
He's like covered in like all the mud when he got thrown in the pigsty. It's like dried on him, and he's just vomiting.
He didn't even wash his face.
One chapter behind, dude. I remember talking about that like a ton. He's one chapter behind. What's his name? The dude who's superstitious.
What?
The superstitious guy, like
superstitious.
Superstitious. The superstitious.
The merchant, or who are you talking about?
No, the dude with the little rum shit.
Gibbs.
This is going.
Gibbs.
Oh,
yes.
Okay,
thank you.
He's one chapter behind Gibbs.
Yes,
I love that. And then, like, he immediately gets thrown in the pig pen.
Yes,
where Gibbs was when we met him.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay.
I see.
It's all
it's all coming together.
We're all making like windmill completing circle motions.
Good.
I am. Anyway.
Michael had a thought. Everyone had to help him. Thank you, guys. Woohoo! All right.
Awesome. But kind of jumping off of your point there, Brett, your scene. What, Mike?
I have a favorite scene.
Oh, you didn't do yours yet.
Shit,
Sorry. Continue.
I think my favorite scene is I really love. I'm a sucker for a game of dice. I always love dice. I love when people gamble their souls on dice. Like, that's just such a ridiculous thing to do. And it's amazing, like, using chaos to, like, manipulate circumstances. But then it's amazing because we've got Will, and we've got the Flying Dutchman, we've got Davy Jones, and we've got his dad there, Stellan Skarsgård, who is one of our favorite actors, the world's favorite actors. He's a international treasure
for sure.
They're all there together, and Will challenges Davy Jones to a game of dice, and his dad, and he says, "I'm going to gamble an eternity of labor over versus the key to the chest."
Mm-hmm.
And his dad comes in and says, "No, I'm in. I'm also gambling with my soul." And so whoever, like, I have no idea how this game of dice works.
Right.
I've watched this, like, I've tried to figure this out.
It's because
I've looked it up
this
online.
scene doesn't
I have
work.
no
That's
idea.
why. The game is really easy, and this scene doesn't work.
It does.
I mean, there's so many better ways that Will could have done this.
Yeah.
But it's also a revelation that's important for Will's character, that he's
Absolutely.
now on top of things. Like, he's kind of in charge, because his dad comes in, he's like, "No, you're being a stupid kid, son. Like I got to come in here and save you." And Will's like, "No, it didn't matter, because once I got the key, I would be able to get the box and kill him, so I won't have to work for him forever."
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing.
You're being a stupid dad.
Yeah, you're being a stupid dad. I thought it was a cool scene, like the way they're, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
It's really
It
exciting.
is. And like
Yeah.
it blows past you so fast that, I mean, like, you're just so involved with them just saying numbers and looking very steely across the table at each other. And it works in that way. But just when you're trying to understand the actual game, it's like that scene in Solo. You remember that? When he wins the keys, he wins the Millennium Falcon in the game, and the game makes no sense at all.
Right.
It's kind of like that.
You don't realize that the game, like, you don't understand what the game is until, like, 5 minutes later in the movie, and we're way far away. The Kraken's, like, about to kill Will.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wait, he didn't need to do this. But that's I think it's on purpose. Or, like, because, like, that they do it, that they make it so difficult to understand at first, so that you don't realize that it's stupid.
Because otherwise, then it's actually a 25-minute game of Liar's Dice.
Yeah.
Which it does take, like, about that long. Because they still have a bunch of die. Like, they're gonna, every time you go around, right, you're gonna lose a die, and someone gains one, and, like, that's kind of how it goes. But then it's over in one round, and I was just
Sudden
I don't know.
death.
It's sudden death Liar's Dice.
Yeah. High stakes.
Yeah.
Just an
Well, I
eternity.
mean, we're just wagering eternity of work here.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. The reason why it's actually not a very good offer is because eventually he's going to become a part of the ship.
Yeah.
You know, Will's just going to be a banister.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's what Will would be. Would Will be a banister, or would he be like a step? Would you
I
just
feel
step
like
on
he'd be
Will?
just like a corner.
Yeah, he would blend in standing up for sure. He's not going to be a step. He's got too much backbone in him.
I feel like he would try so hard to make himself important, but he wouldn't, and then he would just become, like, part of a doorway, not the whole thing, just part of it.
Like, but a doorway to, like, the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, exactly. Yeah, he wouldn't be the toilet, just the doorway to it.
Man, we really shitting on Will here. That was bad. That was bad. Very proud of it, though.
I'll give a courtesy chuckle.
Thanks, Jesse. Thank you. Brett is sniffing out his nose. I think it's just because it feels awkward.
I have an animated face. I'm painted on. I'm mildly amused.
Mildly, that's
Toilet
fine.
jokes are always good.
That's how you always were on our old show too. I'm used to it. But talking about characters, I guess I think this is probably as good a place to start as any. So we got Will here. Will, the perpetual whining bummer from the first movie, is whining a lot louder here.
Mm-hmm.
He seems a little bit more active than he was in the first one, as in he's making choices that other people find very confusing. So it kind of feels a little bit like when he knocks Jack Sparrow out at the end of the first one. You're like, why are you doing this, Will? Why are you pursuing this course of action? But then he just gets to do it a lot longer, and just gets to play keep away with this key for a really long time. because his motivation seems to be I must rescue Daddy, and I must kill the Dutchman. So, but no one else really seems to be interested in his father at all. No one gives a shit about
Bootstraps.
Who gives a shit about this?
We don't like Bootstraps Bill. He was like vaguely principled, but not totally.
Like most of the people that are here on this crew killed Bootstrap Bill.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, this poor guy, twice cursed. But
Thrice
cursed?
I think so.
I think he's twice cursed.
Twice.
Because it's just
He got the thing, and then he had the coin,
Black Pearl, the Black
so
Pearl curse.
forever.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got cursed by, in this movie, he gets cursed the third time. He gets 100 years of service, and then he gets a lifetime or an eternity of service.
That's just an extension of the same
Yeah.
curse.
Okay. Tomato.
It's a tomato.
Who says tomato?
I know.
I say tomato. I'm trying to screw up my kids.
You're gonna make them play life on hard mode.
Yeah, that's the goal, right?
So I guess Will's coming to his own in this. It feels a lot like what we're used to seeing from poor old cuckold Will, who passive aggressively looks at Keira Knightley and is like, after they're like paddling away from Jack Sparrow, like,
Where's Jack?
Yes, yeah. Where's Jack? Where's your boyfriend? And she just gives him the stone cold look. Has nothing for him because he didn't ask a real question. He was being a little bit of a baby about it. And I feel like if you're rowing away from a man that you just watched your fiance chain to a ship, maybe you're gonna make out with him.
Yeah.
He didn't know she chained.
Yeah.
She just thinks that they were. He thinks they were just making out.
Yeah.
So it's even worse.
Yeah.
It's even more petty.
It's super passive.
It's like he could have at least asked. Like, I don't think he figures it out until the third movie, and it's like, dude, you guys were sailing together for quite a while here. you couldn't have, like, I don't know, just like talk to her about it for just like 2 minutes. Be like, yo,
her a question.
I saw you kiss like a guy that's dead now. What's up with that?
Yeah. you want something happen?
Has that relationship changed?
Because when we were separated, it was the morning of our wedding. We've been super hyped to marry each other for a long time, and
really long time.
Now we're here, and you seem much tougher than I remember you being. You seem real good with swords.
Okay,
That's
wait,
new.
hold on. I'm feeling right now that we need a sidebar.
Sidebar.
Okay.
Look at
Wait,
this.
is this a guest
called
sidebar?
Sidebar. Yes.
I got the reins now, fellas.
Woohoo!
What if Pirates of the Caribbean 3 was just like a Terrence Malick-esque bummer, like dissolution of the marriage for the entire movie? With super passive one-way conversations about like why Will and Elizabeth's marriage isn't working out as they grow to be different people.
The sea is always changing.
Well, that's what she would say, and then he would say like, I don't.
Yeah.
But she's not looking. She's looking at ospreys.
He's like standing on land.
Yes, she's in the water.
Yes, exactly. Right.
Of course. She's wading out into the sea like her dress.
A lot of billowing. Yes, exactly.
Yes, yeah.
We're writing it right now. We got it.
Dude, this is
He's
Terrence, give us a call.
Yeah, and then the Flying Dutchman picks him up while he's out in the sea, and then it's just like him narrating his experience on the Dutchman. Like, I feel barnacles slowly growing all over my body.
But it never like actually talks about that they're on the ship. Like he would say things like that, but it would always be like tangential, poetic thoughts that he's having.
I feel tentacles like silk against my skin.
The waves are constantly moving us.
Yes. Father.
Just All right. I mean, it was short, but I think we got the bones for the script here. So let's just work on a time machine, get back to, 2008 or so, pitch it, get it made.
Mm-hmm. Get it done. Terrence Malick needs $100 million for this. We're not sure why.
I'm pretty sure we have 2.5 hours of Terrence Malick movie here right now, just with this.
That there it is.
Yeah, just there it is. Yeah,
just make it longer.
It down. Yeah.
yeah
Oh no, we've got 4 hours for him that he's gonna have to put a little on the cutting room floor. I'm sure.
Well, it's gonna go in the Criterion copy.
But title would be like, "Why is the rum ellipses?"
Yes. That's as good a title, if not better, than To the Wonder, for sure.
Oh, that is the third one, isn't it?
Oh yeah, he already made it. Oh my gosh! Just with different actors.
Different actors.
Right. He couldn't secure all the IP, so he just did his own thing.
Yeah. Okay, Ben, your name is Jack. All right.
Pirates of the Caribbean,
Nice.
To the Wonder.
Great.
Yeah. I would go see that movie just out of sheer curiosity if it was called that.
Just sheer chaotic energy.
Yeah.
Just like I'd see it 10 times in theaters.
Terry, what have you for us this time?
It would have been a lot of effort. And I wouldn't know where the effort went, like specifically to what part. So of course I'd go see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Terrence Malick does a Pirates movie? What?
Exactly. And he embraced CGI for it?
What?
There will be no gunfire, though, or fighting, like of any kind. There will be thoughts and discussion of fighting. Maybe you'll see it from a really far away distance.
Someone will look at their sword for a long time.
Yeah.
That's right.
Trace its outline.
Slowly move it in the light for 10 minutes, maybe.
Yeah. Really sink you into it. Well, okay, so we got the script set up. Are you happy with this, Brett?
I'm good so far, but we'll need some revisions. Once you guys go through a few more of the pirates, we'll come back, right, and figure out the real bones of this. Because I'm thinking, you know what, they already made the third Pirates, so maybe Terrence can do Pirates 6, 7. I don't know which one they're on now, but we can put all this in a blender and see what comes out.
I love it. Well,
Perfect.
As the caller of the sidebar, you must end the sidebar.
Do I have to do the sound to end it?
It's tradition.
It's tradition. Okay. Over with the sidebar.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What an experience. How fun was that?
Yeah, that was great.
I never get
Is
to
that the
make
first
it-
guest call of a sidebar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like,
Wait.
actually, typically we don't allow it.
Wait, did Dominic call a sidebar?
Not
No.
anymore.
Oh, I think he might have.
Retconned. It's out. Nope.
Didn't happen.
Actually, that's Brettconned.
Retconned.
Nice.
That's good.
On the first one.
Well, Dominic, if you're hearing this, you've been Brettconned. Great. Okay, so Will, we done with Will? We got no more to say about Will? He's kind of the least
think
interesting
we've
one,
said
so I wanted to start
Yeah.
with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie is definitely trying to bring him into his own, but I feel like, as an actor, he didn't really have any anything with anybody else in this movie.
It's just dad.
Yeah, I mean, Stellan Skarsgård got him to connect emotionally.
Yeah.
But
That's a good call, actually.
it feels like Keira Knightley just really doesn't want anything to do with Orlando Bloom. They don't seem like lovers in any way.
They seem like they really liked each other in the first 3 minutes. And
Yeah.
then not again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did seem like you could believe that these people liked each other in the first one.
For sure.
Yeah, and he and Johnny Depp, they don't really like each other. They're not supposed to, but yeah.
It almost feels like
I
they
don't
don't like each other in real life.
Yeah,
when they
that's
have
what I
scenes
mean.
together.
Right.
It's like, it's clear that Jack thinks that Will is a huge bummer. He's a huge mood killer.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't really want to be around him very much. And it's clear that Will really hates Jack because he's like everything he can't be. And I guess with Jack, I like him in this movie actually a lot more than I like him in the first one.
Really?
I think he's a lot funnier here.
Huh.
I think almost every single one of his jokes, every single one of his little weird turn of phrases is just a little bit more tuned into his character, and I enjoy it more. Like when the monkey steals the drawing of the key, right, and he shoots the monkey, and you're like, that doesn't do any good. He goes, it does me. Like, yeah, if I had an undead monkey that's always stealing stuff from me, I would just shoot it all the time. It sounds fantastic.
Awesome. Where's that monkey? I want to shoot it.
Yeah.
It's great.
But then when the guy picks up the drawing, he's like, it's a key, and he says, no, much more better. It is a drool ring
Of a key.
of a key.
Things were about to get better for you, buddy.
Yeah.
And they just got worse.
Yeah.
I like all that. And I feel like he's more weird, more off the wall, but also he's telling the truth exactly as much as he says he is, but he's also lying a whole lot more than he has in the past too.
Yeah. He's putting all that together. It's kind of weird. The chemistry, there wasn't a lot of chemistry for me in this movie. When I'm thinking about even Will with Jack or Will and Elizabeth, there in the first one, I somehow believed all that chemistry. Mm-hmm. It all felt a lot more natural. There's a lot more connection there. And like you said, it seems like in this one, maybe Will and Elizabeth just met, and all that Will really thinks of Jack is that he just kind of hates him. Like you can dig a little deeper and be like, oh yeah, he does want to be Jack because Jack has everything except honor that Will would want. He's got the swagger and problem solving and all this stuff that Will wouldn't let himself have, or wouldn't let his character become like that. I guess I don't really know. He's like a foil to Will, right? That's how he's supposed to operate. But there's no real connection to it in the second one. I don't know. I didn't feel that connection at all. Yeah. Other than they kind of just hate each other.
The real chemistry here is between Jack and Elizabeth.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
absolutely. Like in that scene that you mentioned, or all their little tete-a-tetes on the ship.
Right.
That actually, like, you feel some crackling between the two of them. You're like, this is interesting. Where was this?
Yeah. There was a little bit of it in the first one, only when Jack and Elizabeth are on the island, and she's just trying to get him drunk so she can do the smarter move, right? But I think that kind of plants the seed for that to grow into something else in the second movie.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like they did change something there though in what they were trying to do, because that just ends up being entirely like her manipulating him, and at the end of that it shows that she just has nothing but, like, she hates him. She thinks he's a horrible person. And
nothing but
she's on
scum.
She's on the Will train, you know?
Yeah, she's on the Will train, but she's also on her own train. Like, she doesn't, like, the Will thing. I mean, it seems like what these movies might be doing is setting up like her being like, no, I'm my own person. I don't need no man.
It does in the long run.
Yeah.
But I think it also contradicts itself quite a few times along the way, where her motivations seem a little vague, and they're supposed to be vague so that this scene will happen.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, okay, your character's really important here. Now it's not. Now it is. Now it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so Elizabeth Swann's character just keeps changing to, like, you know, she's helpless on the beach without a sword, but she also sword fights and can kick these undead pirates in the ass, and then she manipulates Johnny Depp, even though she's like had her marriage happen or about to happen at the beginning. I don't know. Her trajectory is not very clear. But at the end of the day, when she betrays Jack Sparrow, it seemed like very similar to what happened in the first one in the first place, where she was trapped on the island, she acted like she liked him, and then she did the whole rum signal thing. Basically the same thing. It's the same beat. Like, I didn't...
Just a rehash, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't really feel like she's going anywhere. Like,
she doomed him, but the difference is she saved both of them there, and in this one, she's saving herself and everyone else by killing him. Like, it's the same kind of beat, but the stakes are way, way higher. Right?
That's true.
It's showing that she can be duplicitous and kind of also steadfast in her motivations all the way up here.
Yeah, clever, and I mean, it's her becoming a little bit of a pirate. Right?
Yeah.
She's like, I will chain you here, I will leave you to die, and we're going to take off.
It's sort of about her motivations. I guess her motivations are just to survive, though, because, like, at that point, I don't really see her really caring about Will, like we were talking about.
I agree,
like, that chemistry is just terrible.
It's not there. Yeah, it's not there. It's gone.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's really true. Like, it is her, like, just looking out for herself, and it just so happens that everybody else is on the boat with her. But that's something that Jack would have done as well, I think, is the idea. And so she's kind of turning into Jack and turning into that kind of character. And that's part of why, like, she's got that attraction to him that's really, you know, rising in this, and why they had that chemistry in the first place. There's kind of an attraction. She likes pirates from the very beginning. They're like we all do. They're the image of freedom, right? Like the pirate's life for me, yo ho and a bottle of rum.
Yes.
Like, come on, that's awesome. This sounds great. We've all, like, I was a kid and I wanted to be a pirate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just
run
sounds
around
like
on
the best.
islands and drink rum and
Yeah,
shoot
take what you
people.
want, give nothing back.
Yeah.
It's great. But it's a little, I don't know.
But I like in Brett's scene there, and that's actually something I wanted to talk about. Talking about Jack and Elizabeth together, is that Jack is very bored in a lot of his interactions in this movie and the last one. Like, he's just about like, how can I get past you? How can I manipulate you into doing what I want? And Elizabeth is really fun for him because it's fairly easy for him to manipulate Will, and even at times to manipulate people like Barbosa. You know, he has an in with people that he can work. And I think maybe he just gets a little bit tired, but Elizabeth is really fun for him because she gets it over on him twice.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to get something over on someone as wily as Jack Sparrow. And I think he just finds that challenge just like really exciting. I think that's what's really attractive is he's like, you have a deep intelligence here. Let's see, like, this is what love is for Jack. How can we lie to each other?
This is going to end with one of us killing the other. Isn't that hot?
Exactly. Yeah. So does anyone else have anything to say about our three principal characters, their movement up through this? No? I think we'll have a lot more on the third one then. But
yeah.
Probably more character development.
Yeah. They'll be developed.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, so there's a third movie?
Exactly.
I thought it ended here.
No, they have to get to the world's end.
Oh.
And then when they're at world's end, then there's the third movie.
Gotcha.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, can I ask another plot question? Maybe this is solved all in the third one, but like, why is Johnny Depp confused about what he wants? Like, why does the compass point in different directions? Do we know that?
Because he wants Davy Jones' heart because that's going to ensure his survival, right? But he also is feeling attraction to Elizabeth Swan, and doesn't really know what to do with that because he's catching some feelings, you know? And I think that's why he's kind of torn here, because his actual heart's desire, it usually never wavers. He always knows what he wants. He's a man of irascible appetites, and the next thing is the thing he wants the most. And now he has two things he wants the most and can't seem to prioritize them.
Whoa.
Is that it? Does it?
Yeah, in the beginning of Dead Man's Chest, though, like from the beginning, his compass isn't working for him. You know,
I mean, we already saw a whole first movie where he has this interaction with Elizabeth anyway.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's what I think it is.
But I mean, they do kind of allude to that towards the end of Dead Man's Chest when they're on the island, right? And Jack takes the compass and looks, and then it's pointing at Elizabeth at one point, and you're like, oh,
yes.
And he's like, oh, you're sitting on it. You must be sitting on it. That must be it.
Yeah. Get up, move. Yes. And I think,
but I don't think that's ever actually like clarified, because she's sitting on it. It's not her. It's the thing that's under her.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, that's what he's wanted. I don't think it's ever made clear what it is that he's actually desiring.
I'm just inferring.
Yeah.
Or
I was wondering if like maybe he kind of wants an end to this all.
It wasn't wobbling, so it's pointing in the same place. So like normally the compass wobbled, right? Because it's fluctuating between two things, but since she was sitting on it,
right,
it was pointing in like the same spot. So like what he wanted was all right there.
And then he stopped.
Both the things.
Yeah.
Then he stopped looking at it and said, "Move." Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably why I was inferring that.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so that's a plot point we could answer.
That's cool. That's cool.
Okay, maybe we can talk then about how does this actually function as a sequel to The Curse of the Black Pearl. It's got the same people.
That's one thing.
They are pirates.
Has the same first part of the name.
It does. There's a ship called the Black Pearl in both.
They're in the Caribbean.
There is. So the Venn diagram is slowly merging, right?
There's a lot of the same people. And all the people who aren't the same die.
A lot of them do.
Right. So
Davy
otherwise
Jones
they carry
die.
over.
Right.
I think that it's interesting. Right, Davy Jones is not going to die. They do a lot of kind of world building in that first one where they allude to all this other stuff and don't really show you too much about it. So you get the feeling like you're kind of expecting a sequel. I got the feeling that they wrote like maybe the first 3 or something at once before they even made the first one. The first one seems like it's setting you up for more. And then the sequel comes along and like expands on some of the stuff from the first one. Like you see more of the world, but you see less of character development. You see less of things you might that I kind of cared about. There's not. It didn't grab me the same way that the first one did, and maybe that's because the first one doesn't seek to answer a lot of those questions in the world building, and just kind of just lets them be there and lets your mind ponder them. And then the second one just kind of goes ham, trying to show you all the different things and in depth. It didn't. It was, and that's why I think it feels like it was a lot going on. It did the sequel thing where it's kind of like, oh, take what we did before and make it bigger.
Yeah.
And then bigger is better.
And
you're like, oh, okay.
And real quick to your point about them writing all 3 at once, it doesn't quite work out that way. It was that they wrote The Black Pearl and it was an unexpected success. They were not anticipating that at all, but I think they clearly left it open at the end like you were inferring.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's pretty clear. And then for Dead Man's Chest and World's End, what they did was they wrote and filmed those in tandem. So they were...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's why Dead Man's Chest doesn't really feel like a complete movie to me. It's like it's half a movie, kind of like, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows 1 or Avengers Infinity Wars, where they kind of do the same thing.
I like that second example more, because the Deathly Hallows is clearly like the first one is all the story and the second one is all the action, right?
Yeah.
It's clearly like the rising action, and then that movie's just over, and then the second movie's like it's all climax.
Yeah.
But I like that other comparison with Infinity War, because there is a real, similarly, a huge thing that happens at the end of Infinity War that changes sort of the landscape forever, and then the second movie is them trying to fix that again.
Right.
They're two stories. They just happen to be next to each other in time and activity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like that comparison a lot. And I was actually going to sidebar and ask, what would you compare this to? But I think that's just a perfect comparison.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of hit the nail on
that. I feel like I kind of disagree with you. Like, so for me, the thing that doesn't really work with this movie is the whole like making Davy Jones' locker into like Davy Jones is a person now, and like he has this whole ship thing, because Davy Jones, like they sent. And like this is a big part of the movie. And like I finally sort of accepted about an hour and was like, okay, whatever. We're gonna, like, this is the myth that we're living with. But like that was just an expression. Davy Jones' locker was when someone gets thrown into the sea. And that's how it's used in the first one. And then it feels like kind of what Jesse was saying. Like the first, they were kind of like, we've got this compass idea. Like that could be something we work out in a second movie. And then they're like, oh shit, we need to make a second movie. What do we do here? And they're up until and they're up until like 3 a.m. in the writer's room trying to figure this out. And someone's like, "I got it, guys! I got it!" Like they're doing coke. They're like trying to make this work. Everything is bloodshot.
Just like doing lines, talking about pirates.
Yeah, exactly.
It does feel that way.
Okay, what it is, you know how Bootstraps went to Davy Jones' locker? Davy Jones is a dude. He's a person with these tentacle things, and his ship is captained by these guys who are the damned. We already did the ship of the damned. We got to do something else. Okay, they're not damned. It's 100 years, and they grow barnacles, and one of them has a fish head because that's what would happen if you lived sort of underwater for 100 years. And that's like where this movie doesn't really work for me. The mythos doesn't quite like it's kind of stupid. But
I mean, that's kind of what I mean. They just made it more like we kind of alluded to stuff in the first one, and now we have to like do more than just allude to it. Now we have to do all of this, and it's got to be better than whatever we talked about before. Like it's got to be huge. What's it going to be?
Yeah, and they really latched on to the undead pirate part of the Black Pearl movie, because what I really liked about the first Pirates was the normal swashbuckling. Just dudes roaming around, working with the environment and having sword fights, and Jack Sparrow manipulating everybody. And then
just dudes roaming around having sword fights. Just dudes.
Just pirates just hauling out their swords and
Just
banging
sword
away at
fights.
each other.
You know, that's all.
That's-
just doing dude things.
just doing the dude
Banging
thing.
each other with their swords.
Along with Will Turner. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he probably pulls out his sword more than anybody else.
I don't think he
I
can.
must.
He's a eunuch. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, the
Wait, do you mean something else by sword?
that is a low blow. That is a low blow.
Right in the eunuch.
For little Willie Turner.
I can't remember. Oh yeah. So it's like it's funny to me of all that though, of like all of pirates, that what they're like, what's successful about this is the undead pirates, and there just has to be more of this. We need more of this crazy mythology throughout, like, and it has to be absolutely mind-blowing because we've already had skeleton pirates. We need to up the ante with giant octopuses, an octopus man with a crab claw, and like a barnacle ship. And then that, and well, we're talking about that for the next movie, but then that becomes just a part of somebody's arm of the villain in the next one, right? It's like it's just they're ramping up really quickly here.
And the third one ramps up to even like near impossible levels, to the point where a normal film cannot sustain everything they're trying to stick into it. It's like someone trying to summarize 15 years of comics and you got 2.5 hours. It just doesn't. You're having to throw so much in, and that's actually something that this is a valid criticism, guys, and I agree with you. It's actually something I really like about these movies.
Oh, cool.
I like how bananas and complicated and almost incomprehensibly quickly the plot is moving at you and then past you, and characters enter and exit by like weird means. I remember watching this so many times as a teenager and just not really getting why things were happening. And it just took a really long time for me watching it, being like, oh, that's why. Okay, the lying. Okay, he's lying about that. And I just really enjoyed the untangling of it all. I understand that it doesn't make for an easy watch. It demands far too much attention for how little thematic resonance it ultimately has.
Yeah.
But it's fun for me to do every time. It's fun. It's just fun seeing pirates lie, and then they all get on a fucking wheel, and they're just smacking at each other with swords. And there's like the whole like hot potato game of
dude. I love that.
Yeah.
What, 20, 30, 40 minutes?
It's so long.
It's so much fun.
I
love like, dude, Elizabeth like fighting with two swords, but then when they're like passing the swords back and forth, I wanted to see more of that, dude.
Yeah.
Like when we see her with
2 swords, 3 guys, 3 people.
2 swords, 3 guys.
Yeah.
That sounds
Keep it family friendly.
Jeez, we really went blue on this episode, guys. Dang.
Hey, this is the most like this is so sexed up.
It's true.
Like there's so like they're making jokes about sword fights constantly.
Yeah.
I guess that
there could be a marriage on this ship tonight.
That's right.
I just want to be married so bad.
Yeah.
And he's like, well,
I could marry you tonight.
And what did he say? A marriage.
Yeah.
It goes like full Austin Powers.
that like take something and expand on it is so that end part with the wheel, like, or sorry, that whole section of battle with the wheel and that swashbuckling, that was all really fun. And I feel like they tried to have more of that in the beginning too, but that first 40 minutes on the Cannibal Island is just not necessary at all. It doesn't do anything. Yeah. It feels like someone in that writer's room when they were blowing a whole bunch of coke and were trying to get it all in there. We're like, we need more Indiana Jones, obviously. That's what we need right now. Like the swashbuckling.
This is an adventure movie.
Yeah, but we need an adventure because that's what it really feels like. And it does all those kind of tropes. But then they get off of that island with the Black Pearl and you're like, well, that was a weird little sidebar, I guess.
Yeah.
And I paused it right there, 45 minutes. I was like, oh, okay, that's a chunk of just that didn't need to be in there.
Yeah.
You know?
And then the rolling in the cage sequence happens again in the climax of the movie with the rolling of the giant wheel. It's like, maybe we didn't need this twice. I just keep the wheel, cut the cage. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like to your point, and also to your point, Jesse, like what the Pirates movie needs is a half an hour to 40 minutes where no one's being a pirate. That's what the second Pirates, like from the jump, No ships. We're scared of the water. We are actually not on the ocean at all.
What worked for us in the last one? Ships, get rid of them. We don't need it. That's not in the beginning, at least.
Exactly.
I wonder if it's because like they had some massive like insurance debacle or something, and they're like, okay, we have to have a whole movie where we never actually film on the ocean.
It would be really funny if that was in the making of the movie. They talk about how there was several hurricanes that destroyed the shoot, and I wonder if some of that, like, the effects look great, so obviously they did previs and all that, and that couldn't have all been on the fly. But I wonder if we're getting more land stuff because the ocean stuff was so hard.
Yeah.
To your point.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that could be it. But also, like, we don't need a solid, like, 30 minutes of that movie. It could have been a 2-hour movie. I think it would have been better. But also, like, to your point, Vito, it is... I do like Davy Jones. I like this wild craziness. I do like this aspect. It does. It's fun. It's a really fun ride. It's just like, this is the tone that's being set for the rest of the series, and the fact that they need to top the Kraken and Davy Jones like right off the bat, it sets a terrible precedent. And it's just like, well, I think you guys could have started a little bit smaller.
Well, because like trying to examine the blockbuster landscape at the time, you know, this was the biggest movie in the world that year.
Yeah.
It like worldwide, I think, actually, too, like internationally and domestically. And that really speaks to kind of a hunger that audience had to have a huge event movie, because before this we had stuff like Star Wars. You know, I mean, Star Wars is done at this point. They've already done the prequel trilogy that ends this year, actually, right? Or the year before, 2005 is when Revenge of the Sith comes out. And so you got this hunger, you have this desire to get big screen entertainment, but it takes so long because these movies are so expensive. It's not like the clean Marvel machine now, where we have four to 9 tent poles a year that 3 studios are fighting over key dates for, where everything feels like political and eventized. This was like, no, we have this one really big movie. That's it. Disney's going to blow everyone out of the water here. And now I think we're just so used to that. Then I feel like it was probably just like this burst of almost creative kind of freedom. Like, throw whatever you want at the wall. There is no idea too big or too bananas. Like, the first movie was such a runaway success. You have a blank check for this movie.
Yeah.
Do whatever the hell you want. You obviously know how to make money.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Gore Verbinski's doing fantastically himself. He already did The Ring, and The Ring is a huge hit.
Right.
This guy is basically riding on top of the world. He can do anything that he wants. And it's even bigger when the third one comes. And that's why the third one is like this huge, bloated Kraken monstrosity of a movie. Because it truly is like no hindrances. Whatever Gore wants, Gore gets.
Do you think it was Gore that wanted it? I'm curious. I don't actually know. I'm just curious where
he was very involved. He's very involved. He's actually the one that said, don't do ghost pirates. We don't want ghost pirates. We want sea pirates. We want creatures. Because Gore really likes tactile, gross stuff in his movies. He's obsessed with water. You know, he's obsessed with shooting water, being in the water, putting people in water, drowning people in the water, having like weird eels and monsters and stuff. He loves all this stuff. Water is like the main through line in all of his movies. And it's funny seeing him, especially coming off the first Pirates, which reads very cleanly and very true, like a rollicking action adventure movie, into this one where he's like, no, we're going to do some weird shit, guys. This is what's really on my mind. And it's funny looking at his career after this. You get like The World's End. At World's End, you get like Rango. You get A Cure for Wellness. And you're like, is this guy the weirdest Hollywood blockbuster filmmaker we have? I think he is.
Yeah.
I think he's like, except for Tim Burton, but Tim Burton's style is so much about color palette and themes of like loss and weird little kids. And Gore is just big.
Yeah.
I need big.
Yeah.
I love it.
Can it be bigger? Let's make it bigger.
Exactly. Or wetter.
It's not a question. It will be bigger.
So we'll leave all that and we'll pick it all up again when we talk about At World's End, which will be the next time that we talk to each other. But for right now, I think we're going to bring this to a close with our classic question. And we're actually going to have to do all of them in one because we forgot to do it earlier in the episode. So it's going to be, would you show this to your kids? When would you do so? And is it a dad movie? I don't know. I can go first if you guys.
Yeah, go for it.
Mine will be faster.
Go for it. Yeah.
I will. I can't wait to sit down and watch all these movies with my daughter. I can't wait to blow her little mind with how complicated and insane this is. It'll be so much fun, and it'll be a nice pit stop as we make our way through Gore Verbinski's filmography. This it's a nice warm up to watching The Weatherman, you know. No, I think I'll show it to her probably around the time I did when I saw it, like 11, 12, 13, somewhere in there. Good time.
Yeah.
Good time for it. And I think it's a dad movie. I'm happy to say it's a dad movie. It's one of my favorites. It's one I really connect with being a kid, and it's one I'm just excited to bring into my family. And we can do all the quotes just like I did with my family. Mm-hmm. All the quoting back and forth of all the lines, which is just a grand dad tradition. Jesse, is this a dad movie? Would you show this to your kids? When would you do so if you would? All these questions.
All right, so for my kids and the age, like I think this is grosser than the Black Pearl. So like I want to hold off. Like the way I did it, the way I watched these movies, was
the only way.
The only way
is the way I watched them.
Exactly, that's the way it has to be.
Classic dad move.
It's not the way it has to be, but
uphill.
It's the way
ways.
I know works because.
That's how we used to go to the cinema when I was a kid. In the snow.
I had to get on a literal
this
rowboat.
Came out in the summer, Dad. It was in the snow. We didn't have shoes. We had barbed wire.
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and say it's going to be like 2 years after they see Black Pearl. I think that'd be appropriate. I think this movie is far grosser. And it, you know, is it a dad movie? You know what? I'll hold off on this. I'll hold off on this because, like I said, I think this is the first part of 2 parts. And I haven't seen World's End in a very long time.
You coward.
Yeah.
And I think they, both Dead Man's Chest and World's End have to go together because this is the start of this is the real start of the franchise. You can watch a Black Pearl and you can leave it at that. Or you can bring in Dead Man's Chest. And if you do that, you have to watch the third one. You have to. It's either like 1 or like all 5 or 6 of these. Or maybe just all 3.
I think all 3. 4 and 5 are needless. But yeah, you're right. You can take 1 and leave it. Or you need to do all 3. Yeah. So even though I think that you're a craven coward, I will acknowledge, and it's okay, and you have good reasoning.
So the next episode, I will decide whether or not this is a dad movie based off of that, because I don't have much memory of World's End.
Okay. What do you think, Mike? You're making hmms.
A lot of hmms in that corner.
Jesse, you're making a compelling argument, but I also kind of feel like you're bringing some big Will Turner energy to this podcast right now.
Some mudslinging happening here.
I'll definitely show this to my kids. It's probably going to be around 11, 12, 13. Right after I show them the first one, I think.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna have a weekend when we just watch the Pirates movies. Is it a dad movie? Yes, this is a dad movie for sure.
Yes.
It's like I don't especially love it. Maybe it's not like my favorite movie, but it's so much stupid fun. Like it's big. It's funny.
It's big. It's loud. It's
and
wet.
Like I didn't realize how.
It's really everyone's wet all the time.
I didn't realize how many of these lines had like come into my own vernacular.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's amazing. So yeah, it's gotta be.
I say much more better a lot.
Much more
better. Yeah,
and that's a much more better answer than I've heard in the previous answer to this question. But Brett, as our guest,
I think that I'm right in the realm with you guys. Although I would. Okay, so let's take them one by one. Yes, I would show this to my kids. I would probably, if I'm being honest, Jesse's right. It is a little bit grosser, but it's not crazy gross. There are some weird little violent moments, but I would honestly probably let my kids watch it a little younger because I remember watching movies that were a little bit above my pay grade as I was younger. But I probably would do them in a row. Like I would, like if they're 10, they could watch 1 and 2, like one right into the other. And I think it's a dad movie.
Nice.
I think it's a dad movie.
Nice.
It's definitely got big dad energy in there. It is fun. You don't have to be necessarily so committed in the beginning, so you can kind of, maybe finish up with your financial reports during the 40-minute scene.
Balance your checkbook.
Exactly, yeah.
But it keeps you interested, and then
you can make the popcorn the way
right.
you want it
for 40 minutes.
I did that. We actually, it's funny though. We were watching the beginning, me and my wife, last night, and it does take quite a bit to get going, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the island stuff, and I find myself like kind of wandering in my head. I've just seen this so many times, and I was happy to be back and happy to see this. But after the amazing Jack Sparrow introduction and all that stuff, and they're on the island, I did go make popcorn.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And I brought it back. And I was like, and I came back right when the cages started rolling, when we're kind of on the tail end of that scene. So
still had an entire movie's worth of movie for you.
Exactly. But I'm just here as someone that did not know you're going to proffer this, saying it works 100%.
Yeah. Good to know. Awesome. Vaguely prophetic then.
I feel like this is a special class where it's like you almost like you want to show it to your kids because you want to watch how they react to it almost more than you care about the movie itself.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's kind of how I
especially as you've seen it more and more and more, unless you're a psychopath like Vito. Or I'm sorry, a movie enthusiast.
I think they're the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with them being all looped in together. Great. Well, I'm glad that we have come to an almost unanimous agreement, and we'll find out next time if it is a unanimous agreement. I'm very excited to see how you're going to deal with the hanging of the children as opens Pirates 3.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. I had no memory of that at all.
Yeah,
we won't show them all at the same time.
It's like the first 3 minutes. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Talk about that
you've got to kill all the pirate children.
Clearly. Yeah. And they do.
Did I see this movie?
I don't know.
I don't remember that. Maybe I was just like a calloused 17-year-old and just like, whatever, dead children, who cares?
Yeah.
17-year-old edgelord fight.
Pretty much. That's pretty
Hang
much
the kids. I was going to do it anyway. Super dark. Yeah, pirate movie. Great. Cool.
You're like glad they hung him instead of shot him.
Yeah.
You need to save those bullets. Oh, well, we'll check in with that next time. But meanwhile, thank you so much for coming by, Brett.
Thank you so much for having me, gentlemen.
It was awesome to have you.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe in the future there'll be a sequel. It's hard to say.
Oh, I think I'm just gonna say in a prophetic tone, there's gonna be a sequel. Yeah. But for all of us here at Not Your Father's Movies, I'm Vito.
I'm Mike.
I'm Jesse.
I'm Brett.
Yeah!
Sons of bitches.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.